And the Prophet ﷺ stopped at the grave of Musa alayhi salam. The Prophet ﷺ said, مررت بقبر موسى عند القضيب الأحمر إذ هو قائم يصلي في قبره. He said, I passed by the grave of Musa alayhi salam and I saw him standing in his grave praying. قائم يصلي في قبره. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has honored the prophets and the righteous of this ummah that He allows them to pray in their graves. Right? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ أَن تَأْكُلَ أَجْسَادَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Allah has prohibited the earth from decaying the bodies of the prophets. Their bodies stay intact. Their bodies stay intact in their graves, and they are allowed to pray in their graves. Likewise, the believing people. One of the great tabi'is, a student of Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu. Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, one of his top students, his name was Thabit al Bunani radiyallahu anhu. Thabit al Bunani radiyallahu anhu. Thabit al Bunani radiyallahu anhu, when he died, and people prayed his janazah and they took him to his grave. The people who were burying him, the people who went into his grave to bury him and place him in his grave, they said, when we buried Thabit al Bunani and we were making his grave down there in the ditch, we could hear him pray in his grave. One person heard him pray. He said to everyone else, be silent and listen to what I can hear. And they all heard Thabit al Bunani pray in his grave. They covered his grave, they buried him, they completed the burial, and they came back to his house. And they informed his daughter as to what they had heard in the grave of Thabit al Bunani radiyallahu anhu. And his daughter, she said, this was the dua of my father for the past 50 years that has been accepted. She said, my father, every night in tahajjud, he would make a dua and say, oh Allah, if you have ever allowed anyone to pray in their graves, then allow me to pray in my grave. If you have ever allowed anyone to pray in their graves, then allow me to pray in my grave. Allahu Akbar. See, even the graves of the believing people are exciting. They stand and pray.